All right, good morning guys. I'm John, the owner of Revel Fitness in Soulard. Here today I have Kevin, one of our awesome clients who just finished a 6-week challenge and had some amazing progress. What were you down approximately in your 6 weeks? Because you started right after Thanksgiving and finished basically this week.
This week, yeah. So, like John said, I'm Kevin, 24, I'm a nurse. Work night shift, so that's been a struggle, like trying to work and go to the gym at the same time, but you can make it work. But to answer John's question, like I started at like 240 pounds and I'm down to 217 was the last time I weighed.
That's even more than the last time we talked.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So it's continuing. That is unbelievable. I think you are the fastest losing person that I've worked with. So excellent job. Today we're going to kind of talk about some of the struggles that Kevin had, what made him so successful in this, what coaching did for him, where he had momentary lapses in either out with his friends or with family, and how to make better choices. So it's kind of the premise of this conversation. So let's talk about where were you mentally before beginning this journey? We started talking pretty much the week before Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Your challenge didn't really start until the week after, and you had already started losing weight between us talking and then beginning. But how are you feeling about yourself? Where were you mentally?
Mentally, it was like I felt like I was okay, but like the more I think about it, like I definitely was not okay mentally. Had like a lot of struggles like with work and social life. Just like little slide comments that like you don't necessarily think about, and like you can laugh about them, but then like the more you hear them, the more they kind of eat away at you. So I was getting those a lot from just like various people in my life, and like played it off like it wasn't a thing, but like the more it came, the more it just like kind of hit, and then I was like, okay, like Thanksgiving, just time to make a change. So like you said, kind of we started talking. I was actually in Texas when we first started talking. I was on vacation, so I was definitely not worried about what I was eating or drinking or doing anything while I was on vacation. But it was like right when I got back from vacation, I started like actually tracking what I was eating, kind of monitoring how much sauces I was putting on things, and Thanksgiving tried to not go back for like the extra things, but yeah, that's kind of when I started watching, and then right after Thanksgiving is when I really dove into the MyFitnessPal and like use the calorie counter and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, because you were like hard no on starting right now.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, and that's okay. But the craziest part is that like we talked in between like a week and a half of not talking. You had told me your weight. I don't remember what it was, but there was a pretty decent change, unexpected from me. Like, dude just came through Thanksgiving and a vacation and had dropped some pounds where you weren't doing that before, if I'm correct. So you somehow made a change even through enjoyment and relatively difficult situations, which is family eating situations.
Yeah, because it's just a smorgasbord of all the food, Thanksgiving food at that. So all the potatoes and
the good stuff.
Yeah,
the cheese. Right on. So generally speaking, at that time, you were like just ready to make a change.
Yeah, it was just done feeling how I felt, like I wanted to do something different.
Okay. So you kind of mentioned there were people making digs that were subtle, they weren't intentional. You and I have talked about this offline, but you saw those same people approximately 2-3 weeks ago, but you had already made significant changes by that. How'd you feel walking into the room the first time?
It felt like good, because I was like, I know some of the people I hadn't seen since October, so that was even like way before I started. So like them being like, whoa, like you look skinnier. I was like, thank you. Like I have made a change. Like it's good to know like it's validated. Like So yeah, it was really cool like seeing people, and like even my brother and my sister-in-law are both saying like, you look awesome, like you look way better. Like not that I looked bad before, but just like you look healthier.
Right.
Like
You've made a change and it's noticeable.
Yeah.
Like well done.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's one of my favorite things to hear from clients is that when other people notice, because most of the time we don't notice that it's happening. We see ourselves every day. It's such minute differences, but when you go a month, 2 months, and you see somebody that's done what you've done, it's huge. It's a huge change, and it's always, and the person, you, gets this light in their eye that's like, this was actually worth it.
Yeah.
Because not every diet is easy for everyone. Some people have a hard time, and we'll talk a little bit about that, but you know, diets can be mentally draining. Like you are in a calorie deficit, you have to make a lot more choices that you're not used to, but that seeing the person, seeing the people that made those digs, it's like, that was worth it.
Yeah, and then it did definitely like give me more of a drive, like, okay, like, yeah, it's right after Christmas, I'm ready to like go back to the gym now. Like, I had a few days off because I went back home, didn't come, and I was like, I'm ready to go back. Like, made me feel good.
That's good. And you've been consistent. So that's excellent. I remember you mentioning in text, like, there were other people. What were some of those compliments that you haven't mentioned?
I guess like one was like they said like my face looks skinnier, and like that was something like I really wanted my face to look skinnier just because I always felt like I had a huge double chin. Like it's still there because you know it's a double chin, but like it's better. And like I do feel like I noticed that, and just people were like asking me what I was doing because they're like, we see your results, like how can we get to that point? And I'm like, well, you live 2 hours away and my chin's here, so that's not gonna work. But I like kind of gave them tips on like I basically cut out like all my condiments pretty much, cut out cheese, switched what I was drinking from beer and bourbon, which both love. Yeah, but like I don't really drink those anymore. Like I can feel a difference whenever, like after I drink. Like I don't feel as bloated or hungover as I did before.
Right. A lot of people don't realize, like, specifically those two things. Like, you drink a heavy IPA, you know, tons of carbs. Those can be multi-100 calorie single drinks.
Yeah.
You know, the hops in beer are like one of the most estrogenic things, at least for a man. Like, it's not the best choice, right? And then you have bourbon, which is phenomenal, but it's very sugared. So there's other choices that we modified. What did you switch to in those cases?
Vodka water.
Was it as enjoyable? Were you able to work with it, or did you find tweaks to make it enjoyable?
Mio.
Okay.
The little 0-calorie Mios made a huge difference because I tried just like straight vodka water with lemon and it was like not about it. So Mios. Just kind of experimented with flavors and still experiment like, that looks good, we'll try it. And that's basically what I've been drinking.
Right on. So let's kind of let's talk about like you went out a relatively significant amount.
Yeah.
For 23, 24 pounds lost.
Yeah.
You still went out.
About every weekend. Yeah.
What were you eating? Like, what were your choices? What did you modify? How did it feel? Was it like too restrictive, or was it like at the end of the meal you're like, I made a good choice that supported it, or whatever you felt?
So like going out to eat, I usually would like look at chicken options first, or if there was just like a high protein, like a bison burger rather than a normal beef burger. So like that was a big thing. And I basically like cut out French fries and like always get their veggie instead. And, like usually the veggies are really good, so I never had a problem with those. But that was basically, I think a lot of it was like cut out French fries.
Yeah, sometimes hard in the moment to make, but I don't personally. It feels good to have made that decision. Once you're full.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
You watch other people eating the fries, and it's like,
for sure. And I definitely was that person that like when people were about done finishing, I'd be like, can I have just a couple fries? Like I just need one or two. And usually people like they were done eating. So like I would just have a couple fries. I'm like, okay, that satisfied me. Like
Yeah.
got my little fix, and then I was good. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, man. Do you feel like those meals made it basically sustainable throughout the week, or like if were they vital to your success, or do you feel like they played a part in your success, or?
Yes, because my whole thing is like I have to enjoy it or else I'm just gonna stop. So like I needed to have those meals where I'm like, okay, this is a little bit of a cheat meal. I can enjoy it, but I have to like get back on track right after this. It like gave me that little bit of like, you did good.
Yeah.
Okay, now go fix yourself again.
Right, you spoiled yourself.
Yeah.
All right, so walk me. We just talked about your drink changes and kind of what you would eat. So what were when you went into a bar or restaurant? What was your kind of self-talk before you went in? Did you have any?
What do you eat?
Like, I'm gonna have this many drinks. I'm gonna decide now before I get in there. I'm gonna have this many drinks. What they're gonna be. I'm gonna have something along the lines of those foods.
To an extent, like usually I would like to start with a seltzer or two, and I would tell myself like, okay, I'm gonna have two of those because I know there are more calories than vodka water. So then I would switch drinks after like having a couple, and then I didn't like number how many I was gonna have specifically, but like I knew like whenever I was reaching a point that I was like, okay, I need to.
Okay. That makes it even more amazing because you didn't really put self-regulating stuff on,
Mm-hmm.
and you still had unreal progress that still is mind-boggling. And that's awesome because for other people, it's like most people think they have to be completely constrained.
Yeah. And that's what I did not want.
Yeah.
Like I did not want to feel like I was just tied down and couldn't enjoy life because that's not worth it in my opinion.
No, because it's not sustainable either. You have to be able to do this afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And it's life skills really. So it's fair to say that you're feeling better about yourself mentally.
Oh yeah.
Self-confidence wise now.
Yeah, for sure. Like definitely, like putting on clothes I haven't worn in a while and like feeling it fit better. I'm like, okay, yeah, like this is good. Like these jeans I hadn't worn and like since before I started and like put them on today. I'm like, oh, these fit much looser, like better, like it's
awesome.
More comfortable. But it just like that self-confidence, like, okay, yeah, thank you.
That's so cool. And that was like the funny thing about that is you didn't even plan to wear those pants.
My other jeans are just dirty, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just grab those.
Try these bad boys on.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is gonna, but that's so cool. Right on. So I know from working with a lot of people, they typically have an idea of what they think is going to be the hardest part about making these changes. What were yours, and like what was the reality? Was it the hardest thing, or what was your hardest thing?
What I thought was gonna be the hardest was like staying committed to like going to the gym and actually like putting in the work, because like I said, work night shift, knowing like I work 3 random days out of the week, and then I'm still gonna have to go work out 3 times at least through the week and like try and figure out when I can sleep. So I knew that part was gonna be super hard, but like reality was like cutting out condiments, not really eating cheese. Like that was my struggle. Like I miss barbecue sauce and ranch and mayo and like all the.
We've had some funny conversations about condiments.
Yeah, I love sauces, but like so that was definitely been the hardest part. But like, and like I would have days where I'm like, okay, I need like a sandwich. Like I just need a little bit of mayo.
Yeah.
Like I need a little bit of flavor substance. Like so like. But then when I do it, I would use less than I did before. Like I would make sure like I was still limiting, like get the flavor, but don't overdo it type of thing.
Was it easy for you to make that decision to use less than before?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it like, I want some more, but...
I felt like it was kind of easy just because like mentally like I knew it wasn't good for me and I knew I wasn't supposed to have it in general. So I was like just giving myself a little bit of a treat was like, okay, like don't overdo it, restrict yourself a little bit, but still enjoy it. So.
Sure. It's about making it sustainable. I mean, I try to always help people realize, like, it's not that you shouldn't have it. I mean, mayo is one of those things that it's just purely, there's no benefit from it, right? Like barbecue sauce. We talked about that barbecue sauce that's low sugar, but did you end up trying it?
I haven't found it in the store yet.
Okay.
No.
I know they have it at Schnucks, but it's phenomenal. It makes everything that you put it on taste really good.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part to talk about. Like the funny thing is, you are not the only person that I've worked with that the condiments was such a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like I remember one of my clients in the past, she was super, super strict on herself, and I'm having a hard time recalling what it was. I think it was sour cream. And she desperately was like, I've been craving sour cream, and I was just like, okay, have it.
Yeah, I have a little bit.
And then tell me, did it change your results? And it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not going to change your results. It's so little.
Yeah.
It's when you put mayo on everything.
Exactly.
Right? It's one meal is not going to change anything. It's a lot of little things that add up to big results, not one bad thing.
Yeah, and then also cutting out cheese. Like I basically cut out cheese from my diet, and I was a cheese on everything type of person. Like I love cheese.
Yeah.
But so that has been a huge thing. But even that, I can tell specifically cheese. My heartburn has basically gone away. I don't ever get heartburn anymore.
That's awesome. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah. No, I feel better not eating cheese in general.
Okay.
And
that's really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I had some sort of lactose intolerance that I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't enough to actually figure it out, but that was the only thing that I can figure out. I cut that out and now it's gone.
That's awesome. Did you cut out milk or anything else like that?
I didn't really drink a ton of milk anyways. Okay. But then ranch and any of the creams, I don't use coffee creamer anymore.
And that wasn't really per us talking, really. Was it?
Not huge, no.
No, because coffee creamer, it's you take a perfectly good drink that helps you burn fat, increase your energy, and then turns it into a calorie bomb. So it's it's definitely one of those things that if you're going to do it in a weight loss journey or just general health, really, not the best thing to keep in your diet.
Yeah.
Because it's a ton of calories and go from 0 to 200 calories is a little.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But man, that's crazy that in 6 weeks, nonetheless, and unplanned.
Yeah,
you
that
didn't
was
even know
not an
about
expected
yourself.
thing. Yeah, but happy about it. And occasionally I do still have cheese. Can't give it up completely, but I can tell. Honestly, I'll break out if I eat cheese.
Wow.
So I'm okay, there's some sort of correlation.
Some inflammation.
Wow. Just from the cheese.
Well, now you know.
Yeah, now I know. It makes limiting it easier because I'm gonna feel better if I don't eat it.
Yeah. One question I have, and I always love hearing from people is what did you catch yourself thinking while you were out with friends or with family that caught you off guard and you're I would have never thought about that before, and I'm proud of myself for at least being aware of it?
Probably asking the waiter what the veggie of the day is rather than just getting fries or chips.
Yeah.
Actually making that intention of oh, it's asparagus. I never liked asparagus before, but now I like it. And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't just tried it.
Right. It's a very versatile vegetable.
Yeah,
and it has that crunch.
Yeah, I was okay. And when they would ask if I wanted cheese on a burger, I normally would say yes immediately. And now I'm oh, I don't need cheese on my burger. I'm fine without it. So, yeah.
That's really interesting. See, that's always, everybody's answer is always different on that, and it's, everybody can kind of learn from those things. All it takes is intention, like you said, is being intentional about what you do, think, plan. So that's awesome. So something we haven't talked about, but I'm interested in your personal answer is, why do you think you were so successful in this? and you may not think you were.
Yeah.
Because that's.
I just feel like there's a lot more to keep going for.
Sure.
I would say probably just like I did keep myself committed, and like in the back of my head, I still kept like those comments that I had gotten before, like driving me.
Yeah.
And like honestly, like I have a roommate who is very into fitness, so having that, like seeing him go work, I'm like, okay, I need to go work out. Like
That helps.
that made me kind of push a little bit harder than I think I would have before.
So, would you basically break it down to like knowing your why, and then also, I mean, you were fortunate to have a roommate around you that's like that. Not everybody does have that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what it was is your environment in which you basically stayed in. You know, your environment involved people that were supportive of your goals.
Yeah.
And again, we haven't talked about this, but what did you guys work together at all? Did your roommate help you out in any way?
We talked about meals every once in a while, like just like what he would eat, and like so our go-to meal is basically chicken breast, veggies, and like diced up sweet potatoes. We just throw it one pan, just throw it all in the oven for like 40 minutes, and then that's like our meal for 2 days. Like,
Right on.
and it's super easy, and like we just throw seasonings on everything, and it's really good. Like
Yeah. Keep it simple.
yeah, simple, sustainable, and
Yeah. And you can always change seasonings to make it
exactly.
taste different. That's awesome, man. Because I didn't really realize that your roommate was into it, which I know for a fact personally it makes it changes things, because it's like who you surround yourself with is who you either become or will.
Yeah, because like we've lived with each other for about a year now, and like so I never did anything before, but every time I'd see him work, I'm like, I should go do something, but I never would, and now I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it was probably like a subconscious ding against you before.
Yeah, like it wasn't actually, and he didn't do it mean anything by it. He was just going on with his life. I was just, but it just made me feel like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it, because he's also a nurse. Like,
yeah.
So I'm like, if he can do it, I can do it, type of thing.
That's really cool, man. That's a good environment to have yourself in, because again, we talked about this before we started shooting. It's like nobody's terribly unique in this struggle. Like we all have people around us. We all have challenges. It's just making that decision and finding your why. Keeping
just committing to it.
Committing to it is it's the hardest, but also the easiest part. It's like once you decide and you don't leave any option for failure, because even when you have those beers, have those let's call them what they are. They're not the perfect choice in a situation, but you still remain making progress. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So, what would you say has been the most valuable thing about the coaching part? You come into the gym, do workouts alone. You're obviously cooking with your roommate, but what about the coaching aspect was the game changer?
I think just having someone to talk to. Like, if I had questions, I could reach out to you, and like you answer really quickly. So I never had to like sit around and wait, which was very helpful. Or like, if I had a bad day, like you would keep me accountable. And tough love, like you would.
Yeah, we had a couple instances where I was like, should I say this? I'm going to, because sometimes
there's things I need to hear.
You know that's the answer you needed to hear.
Yeah.
But as a coach, it's like, well, he needs to hear this. So let's say it, see how he adapts, and we'll move things around. So we had a couple really good conversations. I think one was maybe at Christmas.
I wasn't eating eating enough. That was because I wasn't taking lunch breaks at work.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Let's talk about that. So I'll break it down real quick. Kevin wasn't eating enough. And to be honest, that is probably 95% of people that I work with. Their physical shape, their mental fitness is largely due to under eating. As a society, we've really become so conscious of weight and everything that we end up eating less than our bodies require, than our minds require to be healthy. And getting Kevin to eat enough.
It was a struggle.
Like, we had to increase your eating to get you to lose weight.
Yeah. Like.
And so that's the kind of the backstory to this. And I think the question started off was like, how's your energy or something like that. And you were at work at night, and lunch and breakfast and dinner are all uniquely defined for you in that situation. But you weren't taking lunch.
Because I had just started a new job, new people, didn't feel comfortable leaving my patients. And I liked the way you put it, like you told me, like, I had to respect myself by giving myself lunch, otherwise other people won't respect me. And that's what I needed to hear, because then it like gave me like, okay, I need to go talk to the church, and it's like, hey, can you watch my people so I can go eat? And nobody had an issue with it. They're like, oh yeah, go eat. Like,
it's funny because like somehow, like a significant portion of my clients are or have been nurses, and they all say, I can't take lunch, I don't have time, my patient's this, patient's that. And while it is extremely valid to want to take care of your patients, how are you supposed to make it through a 12-hour shift without giving yourself the energy that you need to do? Because what happened recently that burnt you out?
Yeah, almost passed out while working out, and did not like that.
No.
Oh,
at work.
Oh, my patient coded.
Yeah.
And had to do compressions for like 10 minutes by myself, and like it was a struggle. Like I was exhausted.
Right.
At the end of that.
So you don't eat lunch because that was after you started eating more.
Yeah.
And imagine not having started eating more and not taking those lunch breaks.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Like I would have had to stop, or somebody would have had to step in. Like wouldn't have been able to do it.
That's good, because there's so many people who selflessly take care of others before they take care of themselves. But I'm a huge person on like, you have to take care of yourself first so that you can.
Yeah. And then like I needed to hear that type of thing. Like
that's good, because that's going to be something that you'll never forget. And like that could have been the difference between you being gassed at 5 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
And if somebody else wasn't there to take over, like that's a life.
Exactly. And we got it back, so that's
right.
The main thing. Like
the good news story. Like
yeah.
That was such a cool thing to hear. Wow. So basically, the coaching got you through those moments and those situations where your previous self might not have acted in your own best interest.
Yeah.
Is that kind of fair to sum that up?
Yeah, like just for example, like if I hadn't talked to you about like the not getting lunch, I probably just would continue not getting lunch. Like I just wouldn't, because I'm not a confrontational person. So like I wouldn't go ask anybody to watch my patients. I'd just be like, it's 12 hours. I can go without eating for 12 hours.
Right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult did you think that conversation was going to be versus what it ended up being?
Oh, it was a lot more intense than I thought it was going to be, but it was like what I needed. Like
no, I'm saying like you asking your manager.
Oh, they didn't care.
Right.
Yeah, it was. They're like, yeah, why are you not eating? She was actually mad at me.
Right.
I was like talking to my coach, and he told me like I need to eat lunch. She's like, you haven't been eating lunch, and then like she got mad at me. She's like, I'm glad to hear you yelled at you, because otherwise I would yell at you. I was like, oh.
Yeah. So no more excuses to you nurses who don't eat lunch. Feed yourself so you can take care of your patients. Yeah, and I had a feeling that was going to be the case, because like you saved a life out of it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows, but
yeah,
it's a potential, and you have made unbelievable progress. I mean, what I love about your situation is it was like the definition of imperfect action and getting results. Just making a decision and taking imperfect action. because like there were days, a week or two where you didn't come to the gym, your schedule or something.
It was like I would only came like twice that week. I think it was like Christmas time, plus I was working, so I was going out of town, plus had to be to work the 3 days that week at the same time. Like timing was just bad.
Right, but it's the imperfect action. You took action. It wasn't perfect, and you still made an insane amount of progress in a short amount of time. And quite frankly, like as a fitness coach, I would have probably slowed you down more, but you just kept going chugging. Can't stop, won't stop. But let's go ahead, kind of wrap this up. What would you say to people who have been wanting to make a change, who have been kind of in that same position we talked about at the beginning of the conversation of knowing they wanted to make a change, have had people making digs, or in their head thinking that they need to make a change? What would you say about, or tell them as far as investing into themselves and doing a coaching program like you did?
You just have to go for it. I am a cheap person, so like the money side of it was like, I'm not sure if I actually want to pay for this. Like, do I really want to? Is this going to be worth it in the long run? Like, and yes, it was. Like, I also had the mindset of like, if I'm paying for this, I'm going to do it.
Right.
Like, I'm not. I had a $20 fitness plan or Club Fitness, and I was like, I've been twice in a year because like it's $20, and I don't. It just out of my card. Don't see it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But like with this program, like I actually wanted to make the change, put in the effort, and you just had to go for it. Like, and like you reached out to me really quickly after I liked the page.
Actually, let's talk about that, because I feel like there's so many people that are in that same situation.
Yeah.
So you had been walking past the gym for a while, and were like wanting to reach out.
Yeah.
So that was a matter of 3-4 months.
Yeah.
So walking by with your pup, and we're hesitant to reach out.
Yeah. So like I was even like stalking the Facebook page, like, should I go for it? Like it's a small gym, like that's what I want. I don't like the big gyms. So I like would walk past, look on Facebook, like no, not yet. And then like I don't know why, it was when I was in Texas, it was just like, you know what, I'll just like the page. Like what difference is that gonna make? Like,
yeah.
And then like it was either the next day or just a few hours later, like you messaged me. I was like, oh, okay. Like he's making the initiative to like improve me, so like I need to improve myself also. Like,
right. It's funny because like I'll be in here and see people looking through the windows, and obviously other than being a creep and like running outside, hey,
yeah,
I want to help as many people as I can, and it's funny that like all it took was you take one little
like
boop of the like button, and now you're significantly different person and have a lot of skills that you did not have. I guess we're closing in on 2 months ago, but so long story short, take action. Yeah. Take action if you
if you're thinking about it, just go for it, because you're not gonna regret it. Like it is gonna suck at times. Yeah. Like being on a diet is not fun, but it's worth it. Like and the longer like I've been on it, it doesn't feel like a diet anymore. Like it's more like it is a lifestyle change. It's just like, okay, like, I don't need these things to be happy. Like,
no. And you know you can do it. Like you could go have a burger and fries right now. And okay. Small thing in the grand scheme of things. Keep on doing the workouts. Keep on eating the meals that you're prepping at home. Like that's the majority, 80-20, right?
Yeah.
And so you've got skills and now life experience that tells you like I don't have to be completely constricted.
Exactly.
But I mean, really what it came down to was you chose to press a like button, and I think that's the craziest part, is when you break your progress down, is it took one little thing.
Yeah, one like button.
One like button. It literally, it's so funny. Like, it wasn't anything difficult. I like the button. I messaged you. I was like, hey guy, what's up?
Yeah.
What are you looking to accomplish? We had a 20-minute phone call, and that was like a week before Thanksgiving, and then we began the week after, and here we are. And all it took was just making one little investment in pressing a button that was in the right direction for yourself.
Because I like had that mental space of like, I need to get better. I want to do these things. I just needed somebody to want me to do it.
I feel like
Like I want to do it, but I need someone else to want me to do it. So that helped a lot.
awesome, man. Well, I think that pretty much sums up this journey that you're also going to continue, because we're going to hop off this conversation and go plan out where Kevin's going to go from here in terms of how he needs to change diet, continuing fitness, etc. Some of the mental challenges that may or may not present themselves, but we're going to put Kevin on the right path going forward. And I appreciate you sitting down with me, man.
Yeah,
It's been like, even we've had a lot of conversations, but learned a lot about your journey that I didn't know before. So thank you sincerely for sitting down with me. And any last things that I didn't ask you, but you might tell people?
Really, if you're thinking about it, just do it. Like I thought about it for months and years. I mean, I bought Club Fitness a year ago and never used it. So like I've been thinking about it for a while, and finally just, if you want like a more intimate, like one-on-one coaching experience rather than the big box store gyms, like this is a place. Like,
thank you, man. I appreciate that.
yeah, just because I like small. I like being able to come in here by myself or a few other people, and like it's not a judgment place. Like,
right, everything is you.
Yeah, no one else really cares about what you're doing. They care about what they're doing, and that's the way it should be. Like, you care about yourself. Why would you care about other people's workouts? Like,
right. And you know what? I apologize for extending this any longer, but you brought up a good thing. Is like we've got the ARX behind us, and that's kind of the centerpiece of what makes, as far as the workouts go, unique. What are your thoughts on that? Like, what do you love about it? What are your thoughts?
I like that it's not weights, but I also don't like that it's not weights. Because like I'll tell people I'm going to the gym, like, oh, how much are you lifting? I'm like, I honestly don't know. Like, it's a machine that fights me. Like, I don't.
It's the Terminator.
Yeah, like I don't know how much it's like actually pulling force, but like I like that at the same time, because I'm not giving myself numbers. Like, it's just pushing me. And like the other night, like we had that line I was trying to fight, and like it sucks, but it like gave me a goal. Like, okay, I have to fight to break that line.
Yeah.
Like,
and actually, dude, one thing we didn't even bring up, we've been talking about like weight loss, is one of your goals was to get stronger in those positions that nurses are put in. You're lifting people, and you've been put in a lot of lifting a lot of heavy people situations where your back was feeling it.
Yeah. For sure.
How has that changed? Because we haven't even really addressed that.
I would say my back is better for the most part. There have definitely been instances where I can still feel it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, it's been better, I would say.
It's good. All right, man. I'm glad to hear that, because the beast can put people through the ringer.
Yeah.
But
like, I like it. I like it more than the bike.
Feeling stronger?
Good. Like, I'm able to like lift people with one arm and shove a pillow with the other. Like, whereas before I'd have to have someone in there with me to turn, and
Just physically stronger, mentally stronger. Awesome, man. Well, we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much, and press the like button, I guess.
Yeah, it works.
I'll reach out to you and have a conversation just like I did with Kevin. And if you're ready, I'm here for you. And would you be okay if people
for sure.
a message, give your personal opinion, in case this is fabricated?
I'm a very honest person, so like,
I know that. Right on, man. Well, everybody have a great day. I hope you got something out of listening to this conversation with Kevin and I. hit the like button, shoot us a message, and we'll get back to you and get something scheduled to get you whatever progress it is that you are looking for. So have a great one.